Samsung is sharpening the Galaxy Z Fold 8 to face its biggest challenger yet, Apple's first foldable iPhone, with multiple analysts projecting Apple's official entry into the foldable phone market in 2026. All eyes are on what's being called the iPhone Fold, and that looming competition is already forcing Samsung to confront the Galaxy Z Fold lineup's most obvious weakness, the display crease. For years, Samsung has dominated the foldable smartphone category. But the moment Apple steps in with a foldable iPhone, the entire landscape changes. The foldable market is expected to heat up dramatically, and Samsung knows it can't afford to ship another generation of foldables with the same visible fold line down the middle. That's why the Galaxy Z Fold 8 is shaping up to be Samsung's most aggressive redesign yet, especially around the display. Samsung is reportedly going all in on solving the crease problem with the Galaxy Z Fold 8. According to recent industry sources, Samsung is preparing to deploy several new display technologies at once in the Z Fold 8 to dramatically reduce how noticeable the fold line is. The centerpiece of this upgrade is a dual ultra-thin glass UTG construction. On current Galaxy Z Fold models, Samsung uses ultra-thin glass only on the top surface of the old panel. For the Galaxy Z Fold 8, the company is said to be using UTG on both the upper and lower layers of the screen dot by sandwiching the OLED between two layers of ultra-thin glass. The whole display stack becomes more structurally stable. That added stability helps spread out the stress that normally concentrates along the hinge line, which is what creates the deep, obvious crease when the screen is unfolded. Early internal estimates suggest the crease on the Galaxy Z Fold 8 could be up to 20% less visible compared to the Galaxy Z Fold 7. Is that a perfectly seamless, crease-free screen? Not yet, but it represents a major step forward in tackling what has always been the Achilles heel of foldable display technology. And the crease upgrades don't stop with Dual UTG. Samsung Display recently showed off its next-generation foldable OLED panel at CES 2026. And it lines up almost perfectly with what we're hearing about the Galaxy Z Fold 8. In addition to the Dual UTG structure, the new panel includes an improved lamination layer that better controls light diffusion across the display, reducing visual distortion around the fold area and delivering a more uniform viewing experience. A micro laser drilled backplate featuring tiny precision holes in the substrate behind the OLED. Those micro holes aren't cosmetic. They're engineered to spread out the mechanical stress created every time you fold and unfold the device. Instead of all the strain concentrating in a narrow hinge zone, it's distributed more evenly across the panel. That means less strain at any single point, a smoother fold radius, a crease that can appear shallower and less harsh over time, and an overall bump in long-term durability together. The Dual UTG, optimized lamination, and laser drill backplate are designed to make the Galaxy Z Fold 8 feel closer than ever to using a traditional flat smartphone, while still giving you that tablet-sized screen when you open it. But while Samsung and Apple may end up using very similar next-gen foldable OLED technology under the hood, they're taking different design paths to get there. Both companies are expected to lean on advanced foldable OLED panels manufactured by Samsung Display. But sources say Apple and Samsung are tuning the materials and substrate differently to fit their own philosophies. For Apple's rumored iPhone Fold, leaks suggest the company is leaning toward a glass substrate beneath the foldable OLED layer. That's the approach you'd expect from Apple. Prioritize structural rigidity, long-term durability, and a premium solid feel. A glass substrate helps maintain a very flat surface for the OLED, reinforces the screen, and aligns with Apple's focus on high-end build quality. The trade-off? Glass is less forgiving when it comes to extreme bending and may require a different hinge design and folding radius. Samsung, on the other hand, is said to be sticking with or evolving toward a laser-drilled metal substrate on the Galaxy Z Fold 8. A metal substrate that's been micro-drilled with fine holes is designed around flexibility, stress management, everyday usability over maximum rigidity. Structure is optimized to survive constant folding and unfolding, while keeping the crease as subtle as possible. It also pairs well with Samsung's philosophy of pushing cutting-edge form factors with practical, daily use in mind. The result, even though both brands may use similarly advanced OLED and UTG tech, the aging behavior of their displays could look very different over time. An iPhone fold screen might stay extremely rigid and flat, but age in a different pattern than a Z Fold 8 display, which is tuned to flex repeatedly with minimal visible wear. Underneath all this engineering, one thing hasn't changed. The crease is still the biggest pain point for foldables. Since the first Galaxy Fold, users have criticized the visible crease running down the center, smaller battery capacities compared to slab phones in the same price bracket, cameras that, especially in early models, lag behind the best candy bar flagships, and the premium price tags that made those trade-offs harder to swallow. To Samsung's credit, the company and its rivals have made real progress. Battery life is better, cameras are far more competitive. Performance is no longer the issue, but the seam remains a visual and tactile reminder that we're still pushing the limits of what current display materials can do. That's why the Galaxy Z Fold 8 is so important. With dual UTG, better lamination, and stress-spreading substrates, 2026 could be the year Samsung finally turns the crease from a daily annoyance into more of a minor technicality. And just as Samsung is refining its foldables, Apple is preparing to jump in. Most leaks agree on one thing: Apple's first foldable iPhone is likely to use a book-style design, just like the Galaxy Z Fold series, rather than a flip phone layout. That means a tall outer cover display for one-handed use, a larger inner foldable display when open, turning the phone into a mini tablet, and a hinge system that folds like a book. Not like an old-school flip phone. Apple's entrance won't just add another foldable option to the market. It could redefine the entire category. Whenever Apple enters a new space, smartphones, tablets, watches, wireless, earbuds, it brings massive mainstream attention with it. The same will almost certainly happen with foldables. The rumored iPhone Fold could trigger a new wave of consumer interest from people who've been on the fence about foldables, push app developers to finally optimize more software for large, foldable screens, and put intense pressure on Samsung to move faster, take more risks, and narrow or eliminate long-standing pain points like the crease. For years, hardcore fans have criticized Samsung for playing it safe with the Galaxy Z Fold series. Iterative upgrades, conservative design shifts, and a crease that, while slowly improving, was still there. If Apple really steps into the arena in 2026, that comfortable lead disappears. Competition skyrockets. And the users, especially loyal Samsung Galaxy Z Fold buyers, stand to benefit the most. To understand how serious Samsung is about the high-end foldable market, just look at what it's doing in China right now with the Samsung W26. Samsung announced the W26 foldable smartphone in China after teasing it earlier in October. This follows a busy year in Samsung's foldable lineup, which already saw the global launch of the Galaxy Z Flip 7 Fair, Galaxy Z Flip 7, and Galaxy Z Fold 7. On top of that, Samsung is widely expected to introduce its first tri-folding smartphone before the end of 2025, pushing foldables beyond the simple book and flip form factors. The W26 sits in a unique spot. It's essentially a premium region-specific variant of the Galaxy Z Fold 7, with a strong focus on luxury and design for the Chinese market.